comedy with a lot of layers. So I talk about my experience of being an Italian doctor in UK. I'm both a doctor and an actor and comedian, so I bring real life experiences. And also I touch some topics such as immigration and what it means to be a woman in this setting in a way. I talk about love and a lot of cliches as well. So I like to compare a lot the Italian culture versus the British culture. And because I'm both an Italian citizen and a British citizen, I feel like I have such an incredible gratitude for this country and I'm in love with the British culture, but I also can see some elements that are a little bit bizarre and I love to be able to make fun of it in a nice and loving way actually. So I do use a lot my Italianity in my comedy work and I'm really anchored to my Italian roots, but at the same time I am trained in England. I've been living here for a few years. So I think I'm probably at this point, my influences are kind of both. It's a bit difficult to distinguish exactly. What I found, the British sense of humor is a little bit more based occasionally on self-deprecating and maybe sarcasm. I love this aspect of the British people that they love taking the piss out of themselves. I think that's great. I think Italians sometimes were a little bit more sensitive. And I guess the Italian humor is very much based on big emotions and big reactions to events. There's a lot of emotional variety, emotional roller coaster. So I do believe with my comedy I kind of get the mixture. So I use both the type of Italian and British humor together. I retrained as an actor 10 years ago. So primarily now I'm doing acting and I'm doing doctoring on the side, kind of freelance. Mm-hmm. Obviously a little bit more during the pandemics, and I always found that there's an interaction between the two worlds. So in a way, I found the medical world an incredible, very precious source of stories, narratives. So for me, I found a lot of my material just interacting with people, not necessarily medical vocabulary or medical stories per se, just the richness of the human interaction that you have in medicine is such an incredible Pandora box for your comedy in general if you're acting. So I think that feeds a lot my acting. But I think also having been a medic for so long has influenced my personality. So the way I approach acting is very disciplined. I have this hunger for things and for work. I have a really long endurance. And at the same time, since I've been an actor, every time I work back in a hospital, I can find I'm different. I'm definitely way more emotionally empathic to people. I mean, my empathy has really improved. I think that's thanks to acting. My way with dealing with situations has improved. My voice projection actually has improved. So, and I'm always been a kind of chilled person, even in very difficult situations, and I love emergencies. So I am specialized in intensive care and anesthetic. So that's my kind of cup of tea in a way. So I've always been very calm. But I think since I'm an actor, I'm even more able to deal with situations that normally are a chaos, but I can deal better. So it's definitely a constant mutual feeding between the two worlds. I'm not really abandoning my traditional acting, so I'm gonna do a horror movie next month, for example. Wow. So I still do drama stuff. I think I developed an incredible passion for comedy. I was very lucky. I came across the training with Philippe Gaulier, who is the master clown in Paris. So I trained with him for almost 2 years. I think that really made me realize where my heart was, because obviously I love everything about acting, any type of acting. But once I started comedy, I felt that there was a place really much close to what home is for me internally. And also a lot of times before I was trying to be a serious actor and people were laughing. I was like, okay. But I think in a way, I have experienced before that if you do a drama piece, as much as you love it, for me, I don't have the same satisfaction than when I hear people laughing. It's such a shared experience, such a bonding experience with the audience. It's so priceless. I'm so much in love with that moment. It feels like it's fueling my appetite for life, for work, for everything. Yeah, I think generally in life actually, because I mean, at the end of the day, if you have the gift to be able to look at life with a bit of sense of humor, and you can see how life is most of the time a bit bizarre, that means that also when things get really tough, even among tragedies, and actually this is the drive of my show, even among tragedies, there is always a possibility to find a bit of lightness. So I feel if you go through life with that kind of childhood element, that comedic eyes, everything can be just a little bit funny, and you're safe, because no matter what happens, you know you're gonna be safe, because you can always access the lightness inside yourself that makes you safe. And the beginning of the pandemic was a tragedy also for me, and I really struggled the first few weeks. And that's when that accessing my comedic side and my, in a way, my artistic side that really helped me to keep sane, to put things somehow in a different perspective, but also to move forward in a way that turned out to be quite interesting. So apart from the very, very beginning, I then realized, and again, that was possible to see always a bit of lightness and humor. And I started a medical comedy web series, My Doctor's Advice. And then I'm basically applying to film festivals, and I got like showed everywhere, and I had like multiple awards and multiple nominations. So there was a kind of, I was like, wow, like a boom. I was like, well, there is an appetite for this. What is about medical comedy? And I realized that by doing medical comedy, I was allowing the public to almost recreate a different images, a sensation they had of medicine and all the tragedies around it. And in the meantime, the more I was focusing on writing stories and comedy, the more I was also a more pleasant person to be working with. So with other colleagues, when we were on the peak of the pandemics, and obviously it felt like we are in a war scene, really. And then especially when we started hearing about other colleagues dying, people of our age, people that we knew, we felt, wow, we're also risking our own lives. And again, that artistic side really helped me and really helped the others. I had nurses and doctors that told me, oh wow, you made jokes today, and or watched your video, or just talking to you, I just feel better. And they were crying out of relief. And I thought, isn't that incredible? How even 5 minutes of a joke can actually make somebody feel better, because even if we are in a really tragic situation, we can't possibly be sad and desperate for 24 hours. It's just not humanly possible. So I thought, wow, this is incredible. There is something, and that's what I want to bring with my show. I want to give this message that it is possible to look at medicine in a lighter way, and generally in life, and always possibility of little humor. The show Medico is co-devised and directed by Chris Head, and is produced by my producing company, TeatroLatino, and co-produced by Ben Weaver-Hincks. And we're touring this year, so we're gonna go to Stroud tomorrow, and then we're gonna go to the Brighton Fringe at the Carolina Brunswick, and then we're gonna go to Edinburgh Fringe for just the tonic in the subatomic room, and I'm gonna be performing there every day. We'll do a full run, and then hopefully we'll carry on. So the idea is to tour for at least a year and see what happens after that.